Thank you very much, Simon. So I have the pleasure of talking for about 10 minutes about two of our most exciting products for Christmas. So we'll start off today with YouTube. But first I wanted to give you a few stats from last year. So what we saw last year was the average Brit spent about £560 celebrating Christmas. And nearly half of these people began looking for gift ideas in November. I think it's a big trend that we're seeing in that Christmas is happening earlier and earlier. And certainly happening early today with 173 days to go. The other point of note is online is becoming an essential part of Christmas gifts research. So up the purchase funnel, research is becoming increasingly important, and it's happening more and more online. 3 in 4 UK shoppers research Christmas gifts online before actually going out to the high street. We actually see that on its head as well. So we see people going into, it's called showrooming, going into your stores, scanning the barcodes of your items in store and then going and buying them online. And what we actually saw in the news yesterday is that Best Buy in the US are now going to put up a live stream of their competitor pricing to people in store to try and prevent that. But it's an interesting point to bear in mind. 84% of consumers bought at least one gift online in 2011. That's a huge amount. And 1 in 3 bought almost all of their gifts online. Anyone had bought all their gifts online last year? We got a few. It's a rising trend, still quite small. Anyone buy any presents online last year? Yeah, so we're seeing it. We're seeing it in the audience. So we want to I only have a short kind of time to talk about both of these products today. So I want to give you some quite practical tips to prepare for the festive period with YouTube and Google+. The first is on content, and content's really, really important on YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world next to Google. So if people are doing their research online, you can guarantee that they're doing it on YouTube as well. And of course, we're following the trend in the UK as well. So we're seeing very early research starting October, and then spiking into November and December. The reason for the earlier spikes, we see people planning Christmas parties, looking for ideas to decorate, these sorts of things on YouTube. How-to guides really, really important. So getting started in video creation. So this is a video I found last night. I thought it was quite funny. No cats were harmed in the video. But funny cats, always millions of views. So that's How-to Christmas. But I think there's important tidbits that you need to remember about your content strategy on YouTube. The average length of a video watched on YouTube is about 3.5 minutes. So for the best user engagement, make your videos less than 5 minutes. Have series of videos if you want to tell a longer story. Have a look at your 2011 analytics when you're planning content for video. You might find some interesting ideas or tidbits from doing keyword research in analytics to see what sort of things people are actually searching for on your site, or even if you have a channel on YouTube, use the analytics tools on YouTube to see what kind of queries happened in 2011. In terms of content, showcasing your Christmas range. So we've heard what the most popular toys are going to be this Christmas. If you're selling those toys, start thinking about showcasing those via video, giving how-to guides now, because people are going to start the research early. So you want to make sure your presence is felt when people go to search on YouTube for this stuff. Offer practical advice and how-tos. People look for tons of information: how to bake the best Christmas pudding, how to decorate a tree, looking for in-store specials, looking for ranges. How do I dress for my Christmas party? These are all things that we see lots of queries and searches for on YouTube. So it's important that you're matching that content with whatever your video content wants to be on YouTube. Be creative. Customize your channel. So this example here is quite an outlandish example, but this is this type of channel is called an enhanced channel. And if you talk to Greenlight or your account management teams in Google, we can get you an enhanced channel for free on YouTube. Basically, the feature of an enhanced channel is you have a HTML banner up on the top, so it's more branding. But you can also put in HTML links on this banner back to your website, back to your other social media networks. This is really, really important, and it's often forgotten about. Make playlists, even if you don't have your own videos. YouTube is social. People comment all the time. They interact with brands online all the time. We've seen people do this in the fashion industry. We've seen fashion retailers without the content online simply curating content, creating playlists about things like London, Paris, Milan fashion weeks. Even if the videos aren't theirs, it's still very important to their audience that they're creating these videos for their users, people log into YouTube every day. If they subscribe to a channel, sometimes they get an email every morning to say what new videos have been uploaded, or every time they go to the YouTube homepage, they see the fresh content. So that includes playlists. So even if you don't have content or you haven't invested in it, it's still an idea to curate it. I can't stress the importance of tagging on YouTube. Tagging is the most important thing, and titling in terms of getting your content noticed. Our search algorithms really look at tagging a lot on YouTube, so if your videos are not tagged well, make sure that you add more tags in. Keep the tags relatively related to your content, but also update your tags. If you had Christmas videos from last year, add 2012 into your tags, because then they'll become surfaced again for this year. Embed your videos. Put your videos from YouTube across all your other social media channels. Promote them elsewhere. Promote them on the site, on your blog. Encourage people to subscribe as well, which often isn't done. I've just mentioned the benefits about subscribers. If they subscribe to YouTube, every time they log on to the home screen, they will see your updates. Engage and interact. As I said, the conversation on YouTube is two-way. It's important to interact both, with the people who are your allies and adversaries on YouTube. And finally, optimize thumbnails. So when you log in and you upload a video on YouTube, you get the option of 3 different thumbnails to choose. That'll be your kind of preview, so when people are searching, they'll see that thumbnail. And we've seen huge differences in click-throughs on videos that have optimized thumbnails, so don't forget about that one. Think outside the box. So we have 2 examples here worth noting. The first is Nike football. So this is a campaign that went live for the European Football Championships. You probably would have seen this video. It was an online first video, which is something we're seeing a lot from some of the larger players. They're putting their video content for TV online first. And what Nike did, the reason they did it is because online video is interactive. What they actually did with this video is when you pause on certain parts of the video, it unlocks new content that can be found. So for example, I pause after, I think it's 11 seconds, I can unlock another video via an external annotation that's hidden to Ronaldo's training videos. So this is a gamification on YouTube, and it's a quite interesting way of keeping people close to your brand and engaged with your brand on video. The second one, which you guys might have heard about, is the French Connection example. They have been kind of an early adopter of custom elements on their channel on YouTube. They actually had an online video store where they put in external annotations that were linked back to the site where you could actually go and buy the products. This example here is a custom gadget on YouTube, which you can essentially build an iframe unit that can sit as your brand presence on YouTube. French Connection have done it very, very well here to showcase their new collections. We've seen it in the home and DIY space. B&Q is a very good example as well, with all of their how-to guides, making their channel actually more searchable and also more interactive. So, talking about Christmas campaigns, and how many of you have thought about a campaign for Christmas or a video for Christmas? Who will be TV advertising during Christmas? Some people, very few. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our TrueView ads products, because it's a very cost-effective way of giving your videos a boost during Christmas. So what we know about YouTube is we now have 72 hours a minute of content being uploaded to YouTube. So it's a huge, huge amount of content being uploaded. And the more smartphones that are sold, the more videos that will go up online, the more tablets, it's the same deal. So tens of thousands of videos are uploaded to YouTube every day. 50% of all videos get hundreds of views, 15% thousands of views, but only 1% of all videos on YouTube receive 1 million views or more. So what we looked at was, I looked at the video on demand industry, and we looked at the various ad formats that were out there. We actually started, our first ad product was the pre-roll. So we've had pre-roll advertising, which is where you're forced to watch for 15 or 30 seconds before a YouTube ad has started. I'm sure you've all seen them. But what the market never kind of realised, or what no one would expect, is that would people actually choose not to skip an ad? Would people choose to be engaged? And we've developed a model that actually is working very, very well. It's a skippable model where the ad plays, you have the option to skip it if you like, but as an advertiser you only pay for the people who are engaged, so the people who watch the video for 30 seconds or the duration of the ad, whichever happens first. And what we're seeing in the UK is that the benchmarks for view-throughs are about 20%. So on average, from our advertisers on TrueView, about 20% of them actually view. And obviously it very heavily depends on the creative, but it's still an important fact. The other point worth noting is that cost per views are still quite cheap in the UK. That's the average, but we've seen it down as low as 3 or 4 pence. And the other concept worth noting here is if you do decide to put money into a TrueView campaign, you have the concept of earned media when it goes over hundreds of thousands of views. An example of this is this Twinings ad. Anyone seen this ad? No? Okay. Yeah? Okay, cool. So this was an interesting ad that Twinings ran back in fall last year. The campaign went for 3 weeks. They got 1 million views delivered with an investment of about 40,000, but the cost per view was about 3p. But interestingly, for an advert, we're seeing brilliant brand response. Look at these comments. First time I saw this as an ad on YouTube video, I didn't skip. I was mesmerised by the amazing piece of art. So really excellent, positive feedback to an actual ad format on YouTube. So we've seen this product being incredibly successful and work very, very well for advertisers. Another step that we've pushed into with YouTube, and I think it's a very important point to preparing for Christmas, is YouTube remarketing. So what we give you the ability now is to remarket to any interaction with your brand's videos on YouTube. So what you can do is link your YouTube account to your AdWords account, and then what you have the ability to do is remarket to people who watch any particular video, liked any particular video, disliked any video, shared a video, or just simply viewed any video on the whole channel. And what you can do if you're a client of AdWords is you can actually remarket to people across the Google Display Network as well. So not just when they're on YouTube, but what's very valuable is you can go and remarket to them elsewhere. You can also mix these remarketing lists with your existing on-site remarketing lists, and you can do things like remarket to people who were interacting with a video of yours online, but who've never been to your website. So remarketing with YouTube is quite an interesting concept. Moving on to Google+. So Google+ actually hasn't been around that long. It was only our 1-year anniversary last week. So rather than focusing in on Christmas, we actually don't have that much data in terms of brand pages using it over Christmas. I'd like to focus in on some best practices to prepare yourselves to build an audience in time for Christmas, and the benefits that gives you as an advertiser, but also the benefits it's given to some of our case studies, which I'll talk about in a moment. So Google's mission, as you guys may or may not be aware, is to organise the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful to everyone. With Google+, Larry Page, our CEO, is referring to it as Google 2.0. So rather than organising the world's information and making it universally accessible and useful, we want to make it accessible and useful for you. So what we're going to do, and what we have been doing, is adding a social layer via Google+ across all of our products. So the good way to think about Google+ is not just a social destination with Google, but also as a layer across everything we do. So you've started to see, and we started to scratch the surface on integrations between Google+ and YouTube, for example. So now if you do a Hangout on Google+, you can also live stream it on YouTube. We've just launched Google+ Events, that I'll talk a little bit about later. For the guys here who are multi-channel retailers, we have Google Places, which has just migrated over to become Google+ Local. So you're starting to see the integrations across all of our multiple products, and then beginning to have a social layer. I'll skip through this one. So these are the latest numbers that we announced at our developer conference last week. So globally we have 250 million Google+ users signed up to the service, and about 1 million plus brand pages. So we've seen a huge amount of interaction from brands already on Google+. The interesting point to note as well is that over 50% of users on Google+ are actually coming in from mobile. So we've developed some brilliant apps for Android and iOS that work really, really well, and also tablets now recently announced at I/O. So check those out. They're brilliant to use. We're using them a lot. So how can Google+ make your marketing plan perform better over Christmas? So these are 3 metrics that are always important to brand advertisers. I'm just going to talk through how Google+ can really aid you via these areas. So regarding engagement, So H&M is one of our case studies. This is an old screenshot. They actually have over 1 million followers now on Google+. What we're seeing is that the early adopters are seeing the benefits now. We have people like H&M, Late Rooms, Cadbury's, all over 1 million followers on Google+. And the things that are working for them on the rich content, Google Plus seems to suit rich content. So photos in particular work very, very well. H&M, if you go onto their Plus page, have tons of just simple photos of the items on their new ranges. They've also done interactive things, following around people in Vogue as they're checking out the new ranges, as this video is here. This is an example of the photos, quite rich, easy to scroll through, and Google Plus suits these very well. Let users self-select circles. So the great thing about Google Plus and you as a brand on Google Plus is you can segment your audience. So you can pull Google Plus is all built on circles. So the circles that you have in life, my friends, my surfing friends, my work colleagues, the people I work with in Greenlight, all have their own circles on my Google Plus network. But what brands have started to do, and Late Rooms in particular, is that they're asking their users to self-select the circles that they want to be in. So what they've done here, Late Rooms, is they've developed a daily deals circle. And what they've done is they've uploaded an album, and they basically ask you to +1 or comment on the circle that you want to be in. And that allows users to self-select the areas that they want to be in, and also the updates that they want to receive. So that's worked very, very well for Late Rooms. Google Plus Events is something we launched just last week, so it's very new for myself and Dennis. We actually set one up just for the event, but the main benefits of Google Plus Events: number one, brands can use it, and you can invite all of your followers to an event. An event can be an event, like this event here in real time, or an event can just simply be a hangout. So if you're a fashion retailer and you want to have a celebrity stylist hangout, you can actually add all of your followers to an event, and that's a great way to engage them back in. The great thing about Google Plus events is that we've integrated with our Google Docs products. So when an event is created on Google Plus, it also lives on your calendar on Gmail or Google Docs as well. So you get that extra reminder. The final thing which is worth noting about events is that when you sign up to attend an event, you can turn on what's called party mode on your phone. And basically what that means is that once you turn that on, every time you take a photo within the time period of the event, those photos will go up onto a single stream for the event page, and so you have this collective sharing of photos that will live on forever on that event on Google+. So that's one of the features we really love. So Google Plus Local is an important one to be aware in terms of preparation for Christmas. If you're a multi-channel retailer, you're going to put a lot of time and effort into making your store look amazing. You pass the Harrods stores or Selfridges or wherever, and you see these amazing Christmas windows which we've all seen and love. One of the things that we launched last year, but it hasn't been uptaken so much, is Google Business Photos. And this is a service that we're offering in the UK. You type in Google Business Photos on Google, you come to this website, you can get then a list of all the professional photographers that specialise in these 360-degree photographs, and they can come in and take photos in your store. And these photos will then sit on Google Maps. So when someone goes and looks, if they're out shopping on the high street, looks for your store, they can actually have a view into your store as well. So this is a brilliant feature, and I know the guys from Debenhams are here. We actually launched in-store mapping as well yesterday in the UK, and Debenhams are one of our partners for launch. And I actually checked it out in Liverpool Street Station this morning. But you're actually, when you click on your location on your phone and you're in Liverpool Street, you can actually get turn-by-turn directions to any of the shops in the station. So we've launched on a number of train stations. We've launched it with Debenhams and a few other partners. It was on our blog yesterday, but definitely worth checking out. Engage your audience on Google+. So a key lever in building your audience on Google+, if you have a brand page on Google+, is to just use Google+ search. So we have search built into the product from the get-go. The example here is from Urban Outfitters, and I filtered to just look at results from Manchester. And we're seeing brilliant positive engagement here from users in Manchester posting about the fact that you already sell band T-shirts, so I don't even have to adjust them myself or dye them myself. They look cool already. So lots of kind of hipster comments, which I thought were really cool. But you as a brand, if it's a public post, can go in and interact with that post. You can go and talk to your consumers. So it's really, really important to use the search features. And Cadbury's, one of our partners, have been doing that a lot for people talking about the Olympics as an Olympic partner. Hangouts. So has anyone here been on a Google Plus Hangout? Show of hands. We have a few. Hey, Jan's putting up his hand nice and high. So it's a scary concept because for those of you working in social media, you're used to just, typing to people. But when Cabri spoke at a recent event of ours, and a social media manager mentioned it was a bit weird to have himself in person, actually building up personal relationships with their fans on Google Plus via Hangouts. So Hangout, for those who don't know, is a 10-person video chat conversation that you can have, either as a brand or as a user. The sorts of things that they've done in Cadbury's is they've used all the celebrity endorsers. So they've had their Olympians come on and talk to Cadbury's audience. They've tested new products. They're running chocolate tasting. Another great example I saw just yesterday is Ocado. So what they're doing is they have celebrity chefs, and they have 10 people in their own kitchens on the other side of the Hangout. And they're actually giving them lessons, personal lessons, via the Hangout, which is a brilliant brand experience for Ocado. So definitely try those out. The feedback that I heard from Cadbury's is that what they did for the first Hangout was they put a lot of time and effort in terms of video production, getting everything looking and feeling right. But as they've advanced, as they've moved on, they've realised that some of the most valuable features of the Hangout to them are just to get product feedback, testing something new, and getting feedback from people who are real fans, who are really engaged with their brand online. So give your fans a megaphone. So the +1 button is a really important concept for Google Plus. What you need to do to get this is you have to have a Google Plus page, and then you add a line of code to your site, which basically links up all of these areas where a +1 could happen for your brand. And this is why we've seen such huge numbers for H&M. What they've done is they've promoted their Google Plus page right on their homepage on their website. So you can +1 there, or you can +1 in search, or you can +1 on their videos, or on mobile. The list goes on and on. So it's really, really important that even if you're not thinking about, putting the time and effort into communicating with people on Google Plus, the benefits of just having a page and just linking with your website are huge. So talking about relevance. So Google Plus has huge SEO benefits, and Jan, who I work with in Greenlight here, will be the first to tell you that. This is an example of late rooms, a google.com search for their brand. How many of you, the advertisers in this room, would pay to have a massive banner ad on the right-hand side on search? Because that essentially, when you link your Plus page to your website, this is what happens on Google search. So I have late rooms in my circles. If I do a search for late rooms any time in the future, I'm going to get a banner on the right-hand side and also the recent activity. So it's hugely, hugely important, just for search. The benefits are just absolutely, outweigh the effort that you need to put in to set up a page. And what we're seeing is the +1s on ads in terms of performance and impact on performance, just from these personal recommendations and these +1s, is 5 to 10% on average. For Cadbury's, that's as high as 22%. So if you're just thinking about paid search ads, for the guys working in e-commerce here, an uplift of 5 to 10% is more than our site links product, which was our most successful bolt-on to a Google search ad that we've ever launched. So this is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most important lever in terms of increasing performance on search. A brilliant example of how this is working for Cadbury's. So Cadbury's are an Olympic sponsor. A huge amount of their content on Google Plus is about the Olympics. Without Search Plus Your World, or without any personal recommendations, without having Cadbury's in your circles, this is what a search for London 2012, probably one of the most popular queries over the next few weeks, will be. When you have Cadbury's in your circles, they're appearing number 2. And you can see there, that's a recent update from Cadbury's about London 2012. And they said that this is a key lever in generating new followers to their Google Plus page. The fact that they're having all these SEO benefits and they're really seeing the impacts of these. So overall, they're seeing a 7% increase in traffic from Google as a result of having this presence on Google Plus. We mentioned H&M, but another important point to note is the images. So we're talking about how appealing images are on a search result, but now when you actually get an images one box as well as the box on the right hand side for H&M. So they put a lot of effort into their photos. So finally, accountability. So in AdWords, we're now giving you the ability to report on the differences in things like key metrics like click-through rates between whether you had a campaign without social extensions being seen, whether these social extensions were personal, So whether they're people in your circles that recommended this actual page that you clicked on, or whether they're basic, which is just a number. So many people plus one this. So all this information is now available in AdWords. You can report on it, and it's interesting to see what the difference is. We've also launched social reports in Google Analytics, so you can measure assist social conversions, which is a key metric. You want to see how many, what were the social assist to final click conversions, and we have a number of partners on Google Analytics social reports as well. So definitely check those out. So finally, I'll leave you on how to get started with Plus. First thing to do is create a page, get it verified by adding that line of code. Optimize those search campaigns that you have by adding the social extensions. I've certainly been working very, very closely with Greenlight to get those rolled out over the course of the quarter. So your teams at Greenlight, but also your Google account managers are well aware of how to do this for you. And add the Google Plus badge to your page to increase followers in the run-up to Christmas, so you can do these sorts of interesting things that I spoke about earlier. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fintan.